2.2. What we are going to be building now is three figures and placing them all together to create a figure similar to the one that we sketched in our notebook in a previous lesson. So we're back here, we hit on Onshape, and we're going to create, make sure you're in the right lesson, 2.2, create a new document, and this document right here, we will simply call, let's go with 3 blocks, underscore, and then your last name. All right, sounds easy enough. We're going to create it. So now we're going to create our new piece right here, and then we're going to create these 3 figures individually, and then after we create them, we're going to put them together. All right, so we're going to name them like we did before, but we just create 3 sketches, extrude 3 pieces, solids, and then we place them together. So the first thing I'm going to sketch here is going to be this light blue rectangular prism. We're going to start with the 1 by 3 inch edge. So we're going to sketch the top. We're going to click on the top plane. All right, and now I'm going to go to my rectangle. I'm going to use a corner rectangle. I'm going to click up here, and I'm going to go 3 inches wide, enter, and 1 inch tall. Now notice it may come almost off this place, but it doesn't matter. The figure doesn't really matter. Like if you're actually on the top plane, you can go really far off of it. It just shows you what plane you're on. We're going to click on the green check mark. We're going to click on the top right part of our cube. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the extrude button, click on extrude, and I want to extrude it. How tall is this? This is 9 inches tall. So I go over the depth. I'm just going to put a 9 and hit return. Now notice this goes off my screen. That's okay. I can just pinch my fingers to get it there. And now we're back. If I just click on one of these buttons, it brings me back to where it's more centered as well. I click the green check mark and we're done. Now this sketch, I'm going to double click on it. I'm going to name it. I forgot to name it. I'm going to call this my prism, just so I have all names. Remember, I like to have things named. All right, so now we're done. We have our prism extruded. We're back down here on a rollback bar. We're going to now sketch the triangular prism. So this is 3 inches. It's 3 inches depth, so that's going to be our extrusion, and 6 inches high. So we're going to do a 3 by 6 right triangle. All right, so we're going to sketch, and now we're going to sketch on the, it doesn't matter front or back plane. I'm just going to go front, just because I like front better. Whoa, look at it go crazy here. All right, so I'm going to scroll around until I see the word front, click on front plane, and hit enter. Now, as you can see, the way this is set up is the triangle goes down and away. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit here. Click on my line. I'm going to start at my origin. I'm going to go up, and I need to go up 6. So I'm going to type that, hit the number 6. Now, it wants to keep going, so I just hit escape to get it away. I'm going to pull my 6 to this side because I could see my triangle goes up and to the left. So I do want it to go to the left. I click on my bottom right point, and I'm going to the left. Okay. Now I'm going to click enter, and I'm going to hit 3. Now notice what happens when I hit 3. It shifts my whole thing over. That's okay because I'm moving everything to begin with. And now I take this figure, I connect it to the point, and I hit enter. All right, so there's my figure. I can escape to get out of here. My sketch is the green check mark, and I have a sketch of a triangle. I'm going to click on one of my pieces here. All right. I am going to then extrude. It doesn't matter which way I extrude because what happens here is I'm going to have to move it anyway. So I'm just going to extrude it 3. I have to go to my depth. All right. Hit 3, hit enter, and then I'm going to hit my check mark. So now I have my triangular prism. So I'm going to go double click on sketch 1, click on the writing button and call it my prism. Check mark to get it off. So I have my triangular prism and I got my prism. All right, part 1 is my prism. Part 2 is my triangular prism. And now we need part 3. Part 3 is going to be our arc. That's a little tricky. We also need to do sketch. We're going to sketch it on the front plane. Okay. Now when we sketch this, it's going to be a little different. We don't want it connecting to these pieces, so we're going to sketch it a little bit below this line because as you can see, if I sketch it on the line, I might hit it. All right, so I actually could sketch it on this line. So let's start with, what are we going to do here? Let's go below it a little bit. we're going to start with a rectangle, a corner rectangle, and I'm just going to go and put my corner rectangle down a little bit under it. As you can see right here, this is 1 inch, or sorry, this is 3 inches, and this is 3 inches, so the whole top is 6 inches, and then it is 3 inches high, so it's a 3-inch by 6-inch rectangle. So we got that's the 3-inch part, 3 inches high, and we have 6 inches wide, and that's our rectangle. All right, now if we click over here, we can see our rectangle. It kind of touches our piece. I don't like that too much, but let's just see where it goes. So now we're going to come out of this, and now we need to draw a triangle. That's a circle. In order to do our arc, it's a semicircle, so we're going to roll on the bottom until we see a piece that looks like this. This shows us the center of my circle, right? So there's the center of my circle, and I pull my circle out, and my circle, since this is 1 and this is 1, 6 minus 1 is 4, that means it has a 4-inch diameter. So I just type the number 4, and it gives me a 4-inch diameter. Now to finish this off, I go look for my cut tool. If I have this whole thing expanded, the cut tool is shown. Otherwise, you have to go look for it. I'm looking for little scissors somewhere up here. Let's see, where are my scissors? There we go, trim. All right, what am I trimming? I'm trimming the bottom of the circle, and you're also trimming the inside lines of the arc. So you end up with just an arc that looks like that. I could change my name right here. Look at this, arc, before I even move on. And hit the triangle, the square to be done. Last thing, I'm going to take my figure and I'm going to extrude it. How far do I want to extrude it? I want to extrude it right here, 3. All right, I hit the triangle button and it's extruded. Now this worked out nice because look at this piece doesn't really have to be moved that much, and neither does this. They each only have to be moved 1 part. All right, so I got all 3 of my parts, and now I want to move them to look like this. All right, so the first one I'm going to move, let's move the prism first. All right, so the prism, if I look on the front, it's lined up perfectly. So now I want to line it up with this. They go opposite ways on the right-hand side. I want this to kind of be in the middle. So what I have to do is I have to look for my transform, which we said was by the Boolean transform. And what am I transforming? I'm transforming part 1. The translate, not by line, but by distance x, y, z. And I'm going to take it, and I'm just going to slide it to the left till it's kind of in the center. All right. If I look over here, this looks pretty good. I can try to guess a little bit about where I'm going. So it's about there. So I'm going to guess that maybe it's just -2. -2. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to go press my check mark. All right, let's just make sure it's all set up in the other places. All right, it's there. In the top, it looks pretty good. In the back, it looks pretty good. In the front, it looks pretty good. In the side, it looks pretty good. Now, looking from the top, you can see my triangular prism's already set up. So the way I have to set this up is with the front view. I'm just going to have to take this figure and slide it to the right. Now, notice it also has to be lifted a little bit because there's kind of a little overlap here. So I'm going to go now back to, where are we at? Where's Boolean? Transform. Oh, it just left it up there. I'm going to transform. It says part 2, which is my triangular prism. Translate it by distance x, y, z, and I slide it to the right. All right. Now, when I slide it to the right, you kind of click in here. You don't want it to interfere or touch. So that's about 2.9. If you want to go up just a little bit, you can. Because I kind of don't want it interacting. So I just went up like 0.2. And then I hit my button. Now, when I hit this, either point, I could see that I got my 3D figure that looks almost identical. Now, if I press and touch this cube with 2 fingers and hold it, I can actually just move it around like this. I'm not very good at this, that's why I don't do it that often, but I could try to make it look like that figure. All right, and now it's pretty much saved. If you want, you can go back to parts, and what I could do here is I can actually edit the appearance like I did before. Say I want to try to get it to match there. I can go, all right, let's go with a mixer. Let's try to get that color. That color is, where's that color? That color kind of looks like that. All right, I'm going to match this perfectly. I'm going to go with that, which is part 2. Part 2 is like a greenish. So let me look. Let me get some appearance here. Let me go with some green. It looks like some green. Let's get some neon green. Some nice green right here. All right, and we got like some ugly yellow right there. I know that's part 3. Oh, that would match perfectly. So I double click this, edit appearance, and I can just click on that. Close enough. And I got my figure. Now they kind of look similar. I can go Control-Shift-4. I am going to screenshot this, upload it to Canvas, and you have completed lesson 2.2. Congratulations.